I'm Chuck Sievertson. A handful of federal judges have reversed their decisions to retire, depriving President-elect Trump from choosing their replacements. All are in their 70s. President Biden condemning Russia's Christmas Day attacks on Ukraine's energy grid. Missiles and drones attacked. The president says it's outrageous Russia would cut off heat and electricity in the winter. A Christmas message from Britain's King Charles, praising and thanking doctors and nurses who treated him and his daughter-in-law, Princess Kate, for cancer.
I'm deeply grateful, too, to all those who have offered us their own kind words of sympathy and encouragement.
His Christmas messages on social media, President-elect Trump sent greetings to what he called radical left lunatics who go after great citizens and patriots like him, in his words. For over 20 years, officers in Philadelphia's 14th Police District are spending Christmas distributing gifts and hot meals. This is ABC News. If you're expecting a delivery, watch your front porch carefully. Porch pirates have stolen $13 billion of deliveries so far this year.
Following delivery drivers, ignoring security cameras, and snatching packages. It's happened to 58 million Americans in 2024. Security.org, a company that reviews home and internet security products, urges consumers to work with their neighbors, pick up and hold each other's packages after they're delivered, and keep an eye out for suspicious people. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
A recent report from a consumer watchdog group claims popular air fryers from Igostar and Xiaomi are sharing user information with companies like Facebook and TikTok and storing the data on Chinese servers. Cybersecurity expert, SugarShot founder Scott Spiro says smart appliances can learn a lot about their owners.
They're taking information like, are you male or female? They are taking your location. They're checking to see where you are.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to the Common Sense Conservatives, a political discussion group about current events and other government-related matters every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Right here on WSMN 1590 AM, WSMN 95.3 FM, and streaming live on wsmn.live. Making sense of the inverted reality we are subject to every day, the Common Sense Conservatives are here to help bring you back to reality. Now, your hosts, Chris Wyatt, Todd McKinley, and John Gorvin.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Can you hear me there, John?
Absolutely. I hear you loud and clear, Chris.
All right, because the studio thing isn't quite working quite right on this side, so I wasn't sure if I was coming through loud and clear. Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Sense Conservatives. It's Wednesday night. It looks like John's not alone in the studio. I see some hands over there. Is that TJ?
Tonight.
I had a feeling. But welcome around the world, folks, wherever you're listening to us, whether it's in Nashua, New Hampshire, the home of the flagship station, WSMN, or you're listening to us over the internet somewhere else around America, North America, even Latin America. Hey, we'd like to talk to people all over the world. Merry Christmas. Welcome to the program. And all those of our friends who are the Jewish faith, happy Hanukkah, which began this evening, the first evening of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to you as well. The Judeo-Christian faith is alive and well with many of us, hundreds of millions of conservatives who still believe in our faith, in our family, and in our traditions. And to all you progressive leftists that don't like it, get over yourselves. Christmas will not die on my watch. I was named after Christmas. Chris. John, how you doing?
I am doing good, Chris. I took some time to load something up here. My daughter, when she was born 2 days from now. The 27th is her birthday. And I remember looking at the doctor. Dr. Vegovic was his name. Hey, that's pretty cool mug you got there, by the way.
Yeah, you can see it. You like that mug? I've got a inauguration mug for the 2025 inauguration. I'm undecided about whether I'm going yet. I may be going. I'm thinking about it. But gee, I wonder where this came from. I came with your name was on the package, as I recall. Thank you very much for the gift.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. So, so I looked at the doctor and I saw, like, my daughter was determined to be a C-section. So I told him, I says, 25th would be a great day, a Christmas baby. He goes, yeah, John, I think that's a really great idea. However, I want Christmas off too, but she'll be born on the 27th and you'll like it just as much then. So she got pushed out 2 days from that. But
yeah, but that would have been cheating, John. You would have picked the day. That's not the same. I timed my arrival, just like Santa.
But, so we over here, we Groveners understand how it is to have a birthday right around Christmas time to celebrate while celebrating Christmas. And a lot of times birthdays get neglected.
Tell me about
it's
it,
kind of a
brother.
weird mixture. We would celebrate our daughter's birthday in January. One day we made the mistake of booking her birthday party the same day as the Super Bowl, not realizing that was Super Bowl day. So it turned out to be a crummy party for that year anyway. But
shame.
But I kind of think, Christmas music, birthday music. So let's see what we got here. Take a listen. Let's see what you think.
Okay.
If it plays. Come on. Sometimes this stuff is difficult.
Happy birthday!
John, have you been generator?
Happy birthday!
So we put that together for you. Figure we mix up Christmas and the birthday song. So there you go, Chris. There's your
You definitely did. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, I think you know the story here. If not, I'll share it very quickly. Sometimes people have difficulty with their age. And when I was 29, my mother called me on my birthday, which technically I would have turned 30 that year. Because whenever I was at a birthday, she did her best to call me and reach me, whether I was deployed in combat or stationed overseas. She'd always call. And that year she called me and she said, happy birthday and Merry Christmas. I said, thanks, Mom. She said, so you're what, 30 this year? I said, no, I'm 29. She said, that can't be right. you're 30. I said, no, I'm 29. She goes, what? Hang on. She started thinking. And I said, well, Mom, think about it. If I'm 29, that means you're still 49. She paused and said, I like the way you think. And for 11 years, I was 29 till I turned 40. I was okay with that. This year, yesterday, or at least till 6:25 this morning, I was 59. Now I'm not 59 anymore, but for the next 11 years, I will be 59 when you ask me my age until I turn 70. So, turning 40, turning 50, piece of cake. Turning 30, turning 60 made me think about my mortality. I remember as a kid, John, I was thinking in the year 2000, I'll be so old.
Hey, you know what? TJ can vouch for this, man. Anytime they ask me at 56 years of age, I'm in my prime. I'm always in my prime. So
hey, orange is the new black, 60 is the new 30.
and never give up. That's all I'm saying. That's when you start losing the fight, when you start giving up.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, well, Merry Christmas to everybody around the world who's listening. And for those of you that maybe don't have friends or family along, or maybe you're living alone, or maybe if you are with family and friends, it oftentimes can be a very difficult time of the year for folks. And we're breaking new ground here at the Common Sense Conservatives. We're doing a live program on Christmas evening. This is our first time. And next year we'll break ground again on January 1st as we do a live program on New Year's Day. A little less challenging to do it on New Year's Day, but Christmas evening, this is something new. John, you and I talked about this, and both of us were pretty enthusiastic about doing it. We're like, why play a recorded program? Let's just go and do it. We're not Rush Limbaugh. We're not Sean Hannity. We show up for the holidays.
Yeah, well, yeah, and look, we got people here listening. I'm sure terrestrial radios, people out there listening. We got people on social media listening. People, there's people that are alone during the holidays that might like to hear a live voice on the radio and know somebody's out there thinking of them,
I also think after all day with your family, you need to go in another room and listen to the radio.
Sanity break.
Well, there's that too. We don't want to have the tree ornaments ripped down and thrown across the room at each other. Yeah, and speaking of social media, I broke new ground this evening too. Of course, with the software that you started using recently, we're able to use multiple platforms, and I streamed this on my at Real Chris Wyatt YouTube channel. But tonight I added my Twitter account and my Rumble account just to see how it went, and it looks like it's working. I don't know if I was watching it, but because I never told anyone. But now this will be restreamed over 3 of my platforms. So awesome. Merry Christmas to everybody listening there. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Yep.
I think now they've this platform's got it set up so you can use, if you use TikTok, you can add it to TikTok now.
Really? Well, I've got TikTok, but I don't use the commie channel that much because they just lie. I've been stuck at exactly 12,700 followers for almost 24 months on TikTok. It's just such a scam. I get notifications every week of hundreds of people that are supposedly following me and never see anybody that disappears, but my number is stuck at 12,700.
Yeah, this stuff don't, I look at the analytics sometimes and I sit there and see so many people that have commented and stuff. And then I look at the analytics and they're telling me X amount of people viewed. I'm like, wait a minute. I see more activity than I'm seeing viewership. So I think their analytics are off anyway. And I thought that for a long time.
Yeah, that may be true. I mean, when I started covering Carrie Lake after the 2022 elections, when she opposed the results, that I started making videos and putting them on TikTok, and it just soared. I always get hundreds of thousands of views on my videos. And then suddenly I've got, 300, 500, 1,000. And I got some more back, but look, I don't trust TikTok anymore, and I trust Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. It's they're playing games with us. But hey, you know what? Think about it, folks. Go back 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Nobody had this kind of resources. You'd have to be sitting in a studio like John is. I couldn't be sitting here and broadcasting around the world in near real time. It's pretty incredible when you think about the capabilities of home broadcasting, what we can do now, what we couldn't do. And it's actually been quite a lifesaver for many people around the world, particularly those who are fighting oppressive and repressive governments, liberation movements, trying to organize, and just people trying to get the word out there. When they aren't censoring us, it's amazing the things that people share on social media.
Yeah, it is, man. It's pretty awesome stuff. A lot of people get a lot of reach. A lot of people have gotten some fame off it too. I mean, you got people, like you were talking about early days of YouTube back before Google bought it when it was really good. And you had people that made millions of dollars off from YouTube. They made a living off from it.
Oh, you got a lot of people still making that kind of money. Officer Tatum, the Hodge twins, Mr. Beast. These people are making money hand over fist. YouTube is making tons of money off them too. That's what always puzzled me, why they harass people that are growing their channel when they could be making money off them. Anyway, but neither here nor there. Let's not gripe about the social media tonight. Let's talk about Christmas. John, what's your Christmas season like? Before you answer, I gotta say, it's not been a Christmassy feel. I'm very disappointed. So many people are just, not Christmassy. I was out at the local supermarket on Christmas Eve. I had a ugly sweater on and the Santa hat. I was in a joyful mood, being mistaken for Santa on more than one occasions before I trimmed my beard up last night or today. And then I saw two other people out of the hundreds of people I saw that actually had, something for Christmas. And one lady had, reindeer antlers on, and she had an ugly sweater, and saw another person. And all three of us, when I mentioned it, remarked that, yeah, nobody seems to be in a Christmassy mood. What's wrong with these people? Look, I know people are struggling, but that doesn't prevent you from trying to be joyful and happy at this time of year. And look, I mean, there may be a few people with personal circumstances that keep them from being excited, but that's not everybody. Are you getting the same vibe up there in New England? Is it kind of a weird Christmas this year where people really aren't in a Christmassy mood?
Look, man, she and I, that's why I threw my hands up. As soon as you said it, I looked at her and threw my hands up, right? Because we were just talking about this today. All these stores, when we were kids, go back to the 70s and 80s. I don't care where you went shopping. The storefronts were decked out. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy Hanukkah were spread everywhere. You went into the store, they had stores were decorated. My house looks like department stores used to look like. My wife put up 3 Christmas trees. She's got stuff, bulbs and decorations all over the place. Every shelf has got decorations. I'm like, wow, I live inside of a department store, what they used to be. You go in a department store today, and there's nothing Christmassy about it. There's nothing welcoming for the holidays. You got to realize these stores have relied on Black Friday for how many years? That was their money-making day. That's their big day, right? And now they're going bankrupt. Now they're going belly up. Why? Because they no longer embrace the holiday for you. They politicize this, or they allow politicization of this, where they no longer say Merry Christmas when you buy an item. They no longer welcome you in. They don't put up the storefronts like they used to. It was very, very festive with commercial and stuff like that. It's not like that today. So now they go bankrupt, and they want to know why. Why aren't people buying like they used to? Why don't people buy from the stores like they used to? What, you're not welcoming to them anymore. You treat your customers like they owe you the business, and they don't.
I think you've kind of hit on the head there, John. And there's a couple pieces to that. Number one is that most retail stores make up to 85% of their profit in the year in the 6 weeks from Black Friday to Christmas. So you think it'd be pretty stupid of them to shoot themselves in the foot by not promoting Christmas. Now, we had a lot of complaints about Christmas starting in the 80s and 90s about how commercial it had become, how much it had diverged from the celebration of the birth of the Christ child. And I always said that, look, there are a lot of people who celebrate Christmas who aren't even Christians. So let's not poke the bear. If people want to celebrate Christmas for commercial reasons, that's fine. Those who believe in Jesus are welcome to continue to celebrate it for the reason that it was created. But now we're even seeing that. We're even seeing the secularization of Christmas even pushed aside to the elimination, the obliteration of Christmas. It's been done in London, where they have Winterfest, not Christmas markets. And even in Germany. And we see people bending over backwards to introduce Islam and Sharia into the life of Germans, but abandoning Christmas. It's sick. It's twisted. The New York Times ran a photojournal story today on their website of Christmas, and it had multiple photographs of Christmas around the world. So much credit to them for pointing out the Iraqi, the Syrian, the Gazan, Christians and Christians in Kenya and Asia, India. That's lovely. But how about some Christmas pictures of Christians in Germany, in Norway, in the United States? There's this one page. Look, this is, I'm irritated. But you know what? Trump is coming back. Trump is going to ring that bell. He's going to ring it hard. And he's going to make sure that people know it's Christmas. It's not Festivus. It's not Kwanzaa. It's Christmas. There you go.
We can ring that bell ourselves. We don't have to wait for Trump.
Oh, I know we are ringing it. But my point is that Trump's got a lot wider reach than I do, John. Just saying.
No, I'm talking about as a society. Why are we tolerating it? Why do we put up with it?
Why do we put up with the transgender nonsense? I mean, why do we put up with that? Hey, guess what? Day one, Trump says this lunacy is over. He comes in office, and I got to tell you, when Todd joins us, if he makes it in tonight, we're going to have to talk about this. But he's going to sign executive order which will prohibit transgenderism in the military on day one.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the lieutenant colonel walking around wearing a dress with the wrong genitalia? The guy that was on, or gal, whatever that person is, that was on television. Things are going to get rather rough here very quickly for some people in uniform. And I'm sure there'll be fightbacks and lawsuits, but Trump is on the right track here.
Are we past the don't say, don't tell no more? We passed that.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest policy ever.
We're past that now. We're getting rid of it. I mean, that's about what we need. I mean, we need our country right now. Our greatest asset in our country for our country is our military. If we didn't have the military strengths we have, we'd probably been invaded by now.
Well, yeah, the don't ask, don't tell was about homosexuality, not about transgenderism. So they're not, the two aren't related. And, Trump is not talking about banning homosexuals from military. That'd be silly. 5 to 10% of the force is gay and always is, whether they live openly or secretly. It's not really going to be effective. But the transgenderism is causing serious morale and unit cohesion issues, not to mention driving up costs for the military for unrelated things to play to the fantasies or the mental illness of some people. One of the viewers in Canada who's watching us tonight said Christmas trees are being attacked. Yeah, they are. Christmas trees are being attacked. It's absolutely bat crap crazy. In a Christian town, majority Christian town in Syria, they ripped down and destroyed a Christmas tree. These radical Islamic fanatics. You don't see any of us running around to Mecca, attacking the Kaaba, that big black stone in the middle, the most holy of sacred sites for Islam. This is ridiculous. It is time to stand up for Christmas and be counted. Or I can say it on the air, but it's borderline profanity. So, hit the road, Jack, take it on the arches. I'll leave it at that.
There you go.
Boy. So what's the big thing for you today? Did you do anything interesting? I got a good walk in today. I did a lot of radio programs. This is my third one today. But what was anything exciting? Open presents, take a walk, watch something. Tonight I'm going to watch that Red One movie on Amazon Prime if I can stomach all the commercial breaks. But
well, my biggest thing is I actually slept in for an excessively long period of time, and I needed to sleep because I'm notorious for not sleeping enough. And I know you are too, because when I saw you in person in Pennsylvania, I saw the circles under your eyes and stuff where you burn the candle at both ends. And I'm guilty for the same sort of thing. So my daughter normally would be home, and she and her boyfriend went out and saw his family this year. And so it kind of broke a little tradition for us, which is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. We adapt to it. And so I slept in and got up, got my normal coffee and cinnamon rolls is always a Christmas thing. Got to have coffee and cinnamon rolls first thing in the morning. So got that in. And I think I worked on the computer some and
so you just kind of a relaxing Christmas, nothing too exciting.
We opened presents a little later in the day than we usually do. But I think one of the best things just happened here just before the show started. TJ, would you like to announce that? Or
Yes, we had some news. We're going to have another grandchild. My son and his wife are 10 weeks pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
That made Christmas. Well, you were talking about how Christmas doesn't it feels empty, right? That's the word I used on the way to the station. I told my wife we were talking about it, and I says, it just feels empty.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it normally did, not festive like it normally does. But when we heard that, it was like, wow, that made Christmas.
Oh, but John, it's not all gloom and doom. I mean, there are new traditions in Springfield, Ohio. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people. They're eating the dogs, eating the cats. That is the best meme of the year. Oh my goodness, Trump, he's killing us. He's still killing us. Hey, listen, it's kind of exciting. Donald Trump's coming in like a mature adult this time. His press conferences are under control. He's on point. He's making bold statements and he's backing it up. And the media so far is mostly laying the gloves down. But the gloves are coming out on January 20th. They're coming back.
So what was it? Somebody saw an article about conspiracy theories. A common joke online that says the difference between conspiracy theory and reality is only a couple of weeks. And
well, these days that seems to be the case.
And they claim the principle proved to be true in 2024. Throughout the past year, the media constantly jumped into fact check conservatives by downplaying concerns about President Joe Biden's health. the presence of Venezuelan illegal immigrant gangs in the United States, and claiming any concerns about FEMA not helping its servers were unfounded. As usual, the media were proved to be wrong on all of those issues.
Well, remember the Hunter Biden laptop is a hoax, according to 50 plus fake former senior intelligence officials who are still out there. None of them been sanctioned, or none of whom have lost their security clearances over their fraud.
Yeah, you would think that when they do questionable things like that, that they would be brought to,
You'd think
to be held accountable for it, but nope, not in our government, not with Joe Biden. But I did see Joe Biden did one good thing. Not that he was behind it, but he did do one good thing. I mean, he's going to go out with a little bit of a bang, like a finger lady firecracker or something. But signed a bill into law, making the American bald eagle our national bird.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by that. I grew up understanding the bald eagle was our national bird. When did it not become our national bird?
I think we all just assumed. Apparently,
did the Clinton administration remove its status or something? I mean, what the heck? I mean, I don't get it. It's always, everywhere you go, you even look it up in Encyclopedia Britannica, the official bird of the United States is the bald eagle. Is it all because they were all dying off and we protected them? Because they made a big deal. How can we let our national bird die from DDT? Remember that? Good Lord.
Yeah. So I remember stories about the turkey almost became the national bird because
right. That was the story in the beginning. It's a noble bird, stupid but noble. I mean, the domesticated ones, the wild ones are pretty smart.
I think Ben Franklin's idea on it was that it was a food source, right? We can sustain ourselves off it. So he thought it was, and with the so-called story of the Pilgrims and the Indians and stuff.
I don't know about that, but I just know that wild turkey is one of the best drinks out there.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but no, it's look, I didn't know it, but look, speaking of laws, Joe Biden signed 50 new laws into the code on Christmas Eve. Insanity. Now, a lot of them are just stupid things like renaming the visitor center for the Fort McHenry in Maryland to the Paul Sarbanes Center, like one of the most annoying, disgusting senators who passed away in 2020. I think from the Rona, Paul Sarbanes, former Maryland senator. Now we have the visitor center at Fort McHenry named after him. I could really care less. Another reason not to go to Fort McHenry anymore.
I think about Fort McHenry is there's a tunnel named after it.
Well, of course, it's the location that was where the bombardment took place in the War of 1812, and it inspired the lawyer Francis Scott Key, who was on the ship to secure the release of his client, who was unlawfully detained by the Brits. And when he looked out in the morning, the flag was still there. After the intense bombardment, they tried to pummel them into submission. Didn't work. And so that poem eventually became the national anthem. And that, interestingly enough, didn't become a national anthem until this century. So fascinating. So some of these things that so whenever we get a little bit ahead of ourselves, we grow up thinking this, things have been the way they've always been. America is, not that far down the road, just a little over 200 years, but we didn't have a national highway system initiated till the mid 1950s. The last mile of blacktop for that original plan wasn't finished until 1992. So it's not that long ago, just a little over 30 years ago, that the original layout was done. Now we added much bigger, made a bigger network, but we have people who had no electricity in Tennessee, like Todd tonight, apparently no electricity, all the way up until the Tennessee Valley Authority dug up hillsides and filled in concrete and made this system of dams in that state. And it's crazy. We're not that far down the road. Medicine has come so far in such a short period of time. You go back 60, 70 years ago, people were dying from polio, I mean, look at it. It affected President Roosevelt and people dying from childhood diseases that could be eradicated. And here we are, but we walk around the hubris of humanity as if things have always been this way. They haven't always been this way. We're not that far removed from our caveman ancestors. All those folks in New Jersey. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? No. Just kidding. But no, it's we oftentimes just take things for granted. As kids today, like what would they don't even conceive of the notion of not having a smartphone. They don't even have any idea what it is not to have social media, or the concept of streaming or going on YouTube or putting something on Instagram. These are all alien concepts to folks. When I was a kid in high school, we were excited about Pong. Think about it. A little screen, black and white, and this stupid little ball goes doing, doing, doing. that
It
Oh
did
my gosh.
accelerate over time, as I recall. But yeah, I
With-
remember Pong.
Yeah, but it was kind of slow, It's
That starts off
you know,
slow,
it's
like,
and
but
then we would stand in arcades or at county fairs, dropping quarters, which was a princely sum in 1979, 1980, into video arcade games, playing Missile Command and Galaga and Pac-Man, and then eventually Miss Pac-Man. And now where we've come, and that was a huge leap over a generation prior.
Galaga was a fun game. It was pinball. Man, I used to love pinball in the 70s when I was a little
Yeah, I used to play pinball machines when I was a kid in Scranton. My stepfather would go bowling with my mom, and they had a pinball machine in the bowling alley, and I'd sit there and and play pinball. And it's amazing. Some people are just incredible out there, able to just control that ball. But it's funny how things change. And now we've got kids singing at home, generating music using artificial intelligence. Throw a few lyrics into a computer screen, tell it what sort of genre you want, and you got boom, out pops a musical song. It might be good, it might be bad, but you can do it. Skynet is taking over, man. I can't wait for the drones. Wait, the drones are already here. Whoa, what's going on?
The drones. I haven't heard any news on the drones. People are still a little hysterical on them.
But the memes are going to be coming. That, and that's it right there. The drones are here. The drones are here. Where are they coming from? The drones are here. I've already started the meme. There you go.
There you go. Somebody was predicting that we're going to see our first alien spacecraft come out of this. Like, okay.
Well, we've seen our first alien.
The mothership existed, but.
Well, I mean, I don't know where the mothership is, and apparently neither does Joe because he hasn't gone home yet. So, by the way, the FJB, Joe Biden thing, the Let's Go Brandon, it became the FJB. That's now popular in Canada too. It's FJT, Justin Trudeau.
There you go.
And in South Africa, they want to come up with bumper stickers for FCR, Cyril Ramaphosa. So it just keeps working. That's the gift that keeps giving. I'll tell you, the media, you mentioned this, just how dishonest they were about the mental acuity of Joe Biden. While we all saw it in front of our eyes. I mean, we knew this before the guy ever ran. He is dumb as a box of rocks. He always has been. And when you start out dumb as a box of rocks and you start to become senile or get dementia or Alzheimer's, it's a very short journey. I mean, it's not like people that are brilliant and smart as attack, and you can tell when they're off their game. Joe's always been off his game, but we were able to tell because it was just so obvious.
Tony says he has that on his truck, FJT.
Yeah, he lives up there in Canada. Yeah, Canada. Hey, no, he lives up there at those hosers, man, out there in the Alberta in oil sands and making lots and lots of coin. Unfortunately for him, it's Canadian coin, so it won't buy you much on the open market.
There is some talk about some of Canada wants to secede to the United States now. Trump coming into office and seeing all that freedom coming our way, and they want a taste of that.
Yeah, too. I hear you, but I don't think Governor Trudeau is going to be in office much longer.
Oh man, come on, man! I thought it'd be kind of cool. We can extend New England.
Yeah, we can keep little parts of Canada, like the western parts that are conservative and rational. But that mid portion there, Ontario, Quebec, you're gonna have to let that go. There's some good people in the maritime provinces. Maybe they hang out with us too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was thinking maybe we get Nova Scotia and some that way we can go for
New Brunswick, PE.
In the summertime when it's nice and cool.
Then we could claim credit for Anne of Green Gables. That would be an American thing then. Take PE.
There you go.
Prince PE Island. Anyway, but yeah, no, Canada's an awesome place, but it's really lost its way politically. But so did we. We were almost out in the wilderness, and then we pulled it back in November. Thank goodness. And a new day is dawning. Let's hope that we get down this road and a lot happens. I'm excited about January 20th and January 21st. There is going to be so much to talk about. If I do go down and cover the inauguration, I wonder if the media will turn into a fake insurrection again, and start taking number plates and photographs of people so they can prosecute and persecute us once they try to depose Trump, which they're going to do. They're going to try that.
There was people on the left, the Antifa types and stuff like that, where there was talks about them making plans to be there for inauguration time. I don't know what their plans are, what they plan on doing as far as disruption goes, but
well, it's coming. They need to get over it. And Trump is centered, grounded, and ready to go. I'm loving the trolling here. I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind buying Greenland and getting the canal zone back. It works for me. And why stop there? I think we should get the Orkneys too. That gives us an advanced base in the very edges of Europe where we can launch from. And I think we should go for the Orkneys too. And And but why not? Let's go for the Faroe Islands. And the Faroe Islands, they can continue to speak Faroese. We don't mind that. But that'd be nice to have the Faroe Islands as one of the U.S. provinces. It'd be pretty cool. One of our little overseas territories, the Faroe Islands. Yeah. Anyway, Shetland, the Faroe Islands, Orkneys. Come on, let's make it happen. And we'll take over all these Viking settlements, and Iceland can stay independent just because it's too expensive. But we'll go for Greenland, the Orkneys, Shetlands, and the Faroe Islands. Bring them all on.
Viking Chris is already pulling out his helmet and horns and.
Yeah, and I got my Christmas wish list here for the Trump administration. Buy the Orkneys, buy the Shetlands, buy the Faroe Islands. It's funny because leftists they have no sense of history and they always spew their mouth off and look so stupid. I saw on Twitter some guy lose his mind. You can't buy the Greenlanders. They're citizens of the EU. You can't buy people. I'm sorry, can't buy people. What planet are you on, buddy? But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about buying people. We're talking about buying sovereignty. And that is the history of the world. You never heard of the little thing called Louisiana Purchase, the Gadsden Purchase, the Florida Purchase, the Seward's Folly, the Alaska Purchase. Not just us, but the Germans purchased back lands confiscated from them by the Dutch at the end of the Second World War. They got them in 1960, bought several little towns back that were on their border. This has long been the case of countries buying territory. It's not unusual. You're buying the sovereignty, and we can buy the sovereignty. The problem is that if Denmark were really to let Greenland go, that price tag is going to be pretty high. Yeah. We're not going to get over like we did on the Russians or the French with Louisiana Purchase or Alaska. People know that Greenland has got a ton of mineral wealth buried under that ice cap. It's a problem is never get to it. So will we pay the $1.7 trillion, the true value of Greenland, or can we work out a deal for about $100 billion? I'm saying $100 billion. Let's make it happen.
So you were talking about the inauguration earlier. Did you put in for tickets or anything? Or are you planning on going?
No, I hadn't done anything. I hadn't really thought about it, just mentioning it. But then I wasn't thinking about covering January 6th. And next thing you know, I'm right in the middle of filming the nonsense before the so-called insurrection actually began. No, I haven't tried to get tickets. I just thought if I went, I'd be one of the nobodies out there in the crowd and observe the crowd, talk to people in the crowd, see how it's going, that sort of thing. So.
Oh, well, you can get tickets online.
Yeah. What do they cost?
Free.
Free.
Public.
Free. No wonder we're bankrupt.
I'll send you a link.
No wonder we're bankrupt. Yeah, you guys are sending me links. Todd sent me a link to put my name in for the Trump administration. I didn't hear back from those people. So we'll see how that goes.
No, I sent you a link for that too. Todd sent you another link?
Yeah, Todd sent me a second link. Yep.
Yeah, I know I sent you one. Supposedly some group, it's not the Heritage Foundation, but this part of the Project 2025 claim that they have that you can apply for positions with the Trump administration. And I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they're claiming. And I sent you that link. I cannot find anything else where you would put in an application to be anything in the Trump administration otherwise.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But hey, folks, I should remind you, you're listening to the Common Sense Conservatives right here on Christmas evening 2024. We hope that you and yours are well wherever you find yourselves around the country, around the world. On 1590 on your AM dial, 95.3 on the FM dial, and all over social media, Facebook, Rumble now, and Twitter, you can catch us. So thanks for tuning in. And we hope that you're doing well on this Christmas Eve. We've got John and TJ in the studio there in Nashua, New Hampshire. And I'm sitting in my home studio here in central Pennsylvania. And that's an important statement to get on the record for the tax write-off, the home studio, just saying.
25% of your house for office space.
Yeah, somebody else knows how you got to do these taxes. It's tax time, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Microphone you're using is a write-off, man. Hey, that Science is on air is a write-off.
It is, and I bought a new microphone this year, and it ain't working. So I'm definitely writing that one off. Well, if there's a conflict because it's the same model as the boom mic I have here, but it has new capabilities. I have 3 of the same brand microphone, but there's first generation, second generation, and then the other is second generation plus, and there's a conflict. So when I plug it in, it doesn't want to work. I mean, it hooks up and it says the levels are coming across, but then when I play the video, there's no sound. So I'll have to figure that out in the new year. No rush.
You got to
What's
do a sound check first.
Oh, I did a sound check. I tried to record videos. I tried to do a Zoom session. All of them give me a sound level, but none of them record the audio, which is very odd. But hey, that's the vagaries of computers. I do have a laptop. I might hook that microphone up to the laptop and see if it works on there. I'm sure it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't be original levels. But
So
I think there's just a conflict where
you've got two audio devices, two microphones plugged in at the same time.
I always have that. I have two right now, but one's turned off. I think that the problem is that this microphone doesn't come with software. It's just manual.
Right.
And this is the first generation. Second generation has software. That's the boom mic. I'll put it on right now. So that one might get
That's
a little
one
bit
you
odd
usually
sound.
use, isn't it?
Yeah, but I switched back to this one tonight because of Christmas lights. So anyway, so this one here, sometimes the software, it just does what it wants, and I have to close it and reopen it to get it to work properly. I found a conflict there, but I'm not sure what's causing the new conflict. So I've unplugged both of them and tried the other one. It didn't work. It showed me the levels, but no sound. And so I don't know. I think there's a conflict somewhere in an instruction that's just saying, hey, here's the sound, but it's not pushing it through to the actual recording. So because the software works, my Zoom software works. I've made plenty of videos with this microphone, with this boom microphone, and also I've done recorded videos off my Logitech software. So something's not right. It's, it's computers. Sometimes you just get little kinks here and there. So I'll sort it out.
My home studio, man, with for some reason, the web browser, Google web browser keeps automatically adjusting my volume on my microphone. So people can't hear me anymore because it keeps going down and down and down, but it never comes back up.
You're talking about Chrome.
Yeah. And so then I had to put an extension in there to adjust for that. And so now it leaves it alone. It leaves it up at 100%. I can just do my own adjustments as I need to. And but now my whole Chrome is like I can't use it for things. Things just don't work now. Like when I Facebook or do things, they're not working. So I'm just like, the heck with it. Now I'm using Internet Explorer.
Well, sometimes on these internet sites or these software applications, you're forced into things. So, for instance, I've done a few broadcasts with people who use like Riverside or something like that, and if you don't use Chrome, it doesn't work. It won't work. It won't work in Firefox. It won't work in Internet Explorer. It won't work in anything except Chrome, and that's really annoying. So I have like every browser under the sun on my computer because I do so many different things. Most of them I don't use very often. I mostly use Firefox, which is a huge memory pig, but it's one that I really like, and it's not Microsoft, which is the most redeeming feature of it.
Yeah. Well, there are many options. You got Opera, you got Waterfox, you got like you said, Firefox. There's several other different options.
Yep, but it's Christmas and it's free, so download what you want, folks. It's not just free today, it's always free for those things. Well, today I didn't have turkey. I had a little bit different, a little something different. Earlier, my dinner was schnitzels, a German Christmassy sort of thing with red kraut. Yeah, it was tasty, tasty, tasty. So didn't do turkey this year. Can do turkey anytime. So anyway. But, no white Christmas here. It looks like no white Christmas in Nashua, as somebody just ran a red light behind you.
No, we got some snow on the ground. I know where my house, it was all white on the ground. It was definitely a white Christmas this year. And
Really?
that's not necessarily common.
Okay. Well, it's, none here. It'll be like a couple years ago. No snow on Christmas. Then I got to shovel out 2 days later.
Yeah. Heavy wet snow, man. That's always great to get the shovel out.
Oh, yes. That thick powder that gets quite heavy. That's not something to look forward to say the least. But anyway, let's see. So we haven't really talked politics, which is fine because it's Christmas evening. We talked a little bit about it, but the Trumpster's ready to go. I mean, he's not holding back. He's been pretty clear about what he's going to do on day one. And I think a lot of people are just girding themselves. Many Americans excited, many people around the world excited to see a true leader come back into office in the United States. And, other people terrified. It's kind of funny.
Let's be honest, man. Trump is already making an impact and he's not even inaugurated.
He's already the president. This is going to be Trump 2.1, and then when he gets in on January 20th, it's Trump 3.0. I mean, Biden is just not even there. I mean, he's never been there, but he's really not there now. I mean, he has no idea what bills he signed. They just stuck this stuff under him and said, "Here, Joe, sign these." has no idea.
What am I signing? Oh, it's more pardons.
When
It
Joe
could be
Biden,
anything, but they're just tell them it's pardons. You're
that's
pardoning
right.
more people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People are going to
It's
be out of trouble.
it's another pardon for Hunter. Oh, I'll sign that. Yeah, no, but I mean, every time Biden talks, I feel like I'm watching Dick Tracy with mumbles.
Only word you hear is, "Oh man, give me a break." Other than that, yeah.
Come
But
on,
yeah,
Joe.
no,
Come on.
the election wasn't even over, and you got people like Netanyahu and whoever. I think Trudeau was after the election, but yeah, you got all these people that were visiting Trump, these world leaders and stuff. And the election wasn't even over. They knew Trump was going to win.
Yep. Yep. Well, I mean, look, it shouldn't even been as close as it even was. Not that it was close, but numerically it was close in some states. But I mean, it should have just been a blowout. It just shows you how either crooked the system is or how stupid a lot of people are that didn't vote for
They
Trump.
don't pay
I
attention.
mean, look, I mean, the Democrats keep putting up the worst candidates ever. I mean, show me the last good Democratic candidate for office. I mean, it wasn't Biden, it wasn't Harris, it maybe Obama, but only because he was such a fake fraud that he was able to deceive people when he came in office, and he looked much better than he was. But none of them, they haven't put anyone up that's actually worthy of being a dog catcher, let alone the president of the United States. That's no wonder they lose.
Somebody says Biden grew the Pablo says Biden grew the economy to $29 trillion. At least there's that.
Okay, so look, okay, let's just discuss this.
That needs to
All
be
right.
discussed.
Okay, Biden didn't grow anything except mold on his fingernails. He grew nothing, and Trump will grow nothing either. However, presidents can set the conditions that allow the economy to thrive. Unless this is a state-controlled economy and a complete communist government, where the government controls the means of production, you can't give credit to a president for economic growth. You can't give him credit for creating the conditions, which is what Trump did in January of 2019 is when he came in office. No, 2017. 2017. When he came in office in 2017, he struck down 10,000 ridiculous federal regulations in the first hour he's in office. That accelerated economic growth by relieving the administrative burden on thousands of manufacturers and companies in America. That is creating the conditions so an economy can grow. But Trump doesn't create the jobs. UPS, DHL, Kaiser Aluminum, and Pittsburgh Steel. They're the ones that create the jobs, not the president. The only jobs the president creates are in the executive branch, and we don't want that. We don't want the bigger executive branch. We want a president to create conditions, just like taking credit for the price of oil. Presidents don't control the price of oil. It's traded on an open market, thankfully in dollars, which gives us a huge advantage over other countries because we don't have to deal with exchange rate mechanisms, just only with the price going up and down. But it's traded in dollars. It's a fungible commodity, and presidents have little to do with it. They can crush the price. They can cause it to go higher by spooking the markets, spooking the futures markets. They can do it by, restricting trade. They can cause price to go up or go down, but they don't control the price. That's just silly. If anyone wants, if Trump comes in, the price of gasoline goes down to $1 a gallon. He goes, I did that. I'm going to say, no, you may have had an impact, but you didn't do it. It's much more complicated than that.
Policy can influence
some
things into certain directions as far as business goes, which may or may not impact the economy, but it's not going to impact it so much that they're going to be responsible for this big major growth in economy. It's that's kind of ridiculous. But they like to take the credit. There's no doubt on that.
No, I hear you. It's there's a question here in the chat. I think it was Tony saying how many federal government employees? Well, after Graham, Rubb, and Hollings, we were down to about 1.4 million federal employees, but that's been a long time ago. Graham, Rubb, and Hollings, which was passed back in the Clinton administration to reduce the size of the federal government. I don't know the exact number now, but multiple sources indicate that the total number of federal employees is hovering around 3 million, not 12 million, 3 million. I don't know if that's true, but that's an awfully large executive branch. And it's not necessary to be that large, but we just keep creating more departments and more jobs and things. So I see that the Festivus report has come out from Senator Rand Paul, and he's found $1 trillion of waste in this year's budget, which he's going to happily hand off to the Doge boys, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, to start getting the shears out. You know what? They need to get a chainsaw out, not scissors, to cut this budget and this fraud, waste, and abuse. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The government, was it Government Accountability Office usually is supposed to keep track of these sorts of things, spending, how spending goes, and waste and stuff
They
like
do.
that.
They do. But Congress never does anything about it.
No, that's
They
just
never
it.
prosecute people. You can't be prosecuted for your official duties, if it's in line with the law, and it is. It's just these are reprehensible, immoral people that need to be held to account. We've got Pablo saying that Trump wants a sovereign wealth fund, that I don't want a sovereign wealth fund. Once again, that's fake news. I have no objection to a national sovereign wealth fund. I've encouraged South Africa to have one for a long time. Kuwait and Norway have fantastic programs that have secured wealth for them for a couple of centuries if it's managed well. I have said that it's ludicrous for the United States to have a national sovereign wealth fund when we owe nearly $40 trillion. We're paying $1 trillion in interest on the debt, and much of that debt is at interest rates of 1% or below. So imagine if we had borrowed that money at the current prime lending rate of 4 or 5%, we'd be collapsing right now. I'm not against a sovereign wealth fund. I am for paying down the debt. That's dumb. That's like, John, you get people who they're in financial problem. They want to start anew. They want to start saving for the future. And I get this all the time. People come up and they say, "Hey, I want to save. What's a great do?" I said, "Well, do you have credit card debt?" "Yeah." How much do you pay?" I pay this much a month." "Well, you're paying the minimum." "Yeah." Stop. Full stop. No. Pay your credit card off immediately. Every penny you can put towards it, pay your balance down to zero. A credit card at 19 to 24 to 36% interest rate is a death sentence. You will never get out of debt. And taking $50 and putting it into a savings account, earning 1% or 2% is not going to get you out of the hole. You need to get rid of that debt, that high interest rate debt, immediately. You need to pay down your debts and be debt free as best you can. Not everybody can. You got mortgages. I got that, but that's usually manageable. But credit card debt is insane. Do not let yourself get caught in that trap. There's no point in saving money. It's the same with the U.S. What's the point of having a national sovereign wealth fund we put a few $100 billion in when we pay $1 trillion in interest this year? Pay the $1 trillion, take the 200 or 300 extra billion that you've got, and pay down more of the debt so you're deeper out of the hole. Once you're out of the hole, then you can have a national sovereign wealth fund. It's not a complicated concept, and I don't know why some people like to falsely attribute something I've never said. I don't oppose a national sovereign wealth fund, but I don't like stupid financial decisions, which is what our government's doing.
Yeah, no, you're talking about the national or the credit card debts and stuff. And I believe that minimum payment is just for interest. It's basically that's all you're paying on that. You're not paying against your principal, are you?
No, and well, I mean, I don't know how they break it down, but I mean, let's say your credit card bill is $1,800 this month, and they say the minimum payment is $35. $35 doesn't even begin to touch the interest on an $1,800 bill if you don't pay it this month. Mm-hmm. So maybe pay that $35 down, but now next month you've got a month of interest on $1,750. And if you pay the minimum again, then you're paying interest. You're paying the interest off of interest. It's insane, but people don't get it.
Interest.
What's that?
I say you're compounding your interest.
Yeah, in the wrong direction. If I had a savings account get me 19% annual, I'd be pouring every penny I had into it. And people are putting more money in credit cards and buying things. Now, look, I understand some people use credit cards because they have they're on tough times. They have no money. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they don't have a paycheck, and so they have to put money in a credit card. But a credit card should be for convenience and or emergencies, not because you want a new pair of Manolo Blancs or some Jimmy Choos or what's the Red Soul ones there?
I do not know.
But TJ will know.
Work boots.
I'm drawing a blank right now. The red soled women's high heels, those things. Anyway, a very famous brand. But my point is that, and that's unfair. I'm picking women, and we do the same thing, man. It shouldn't be because you want a box, a humidor full of cigars, or you want a F-150.
Back in the day, it used to be Air Jordans.
Or Air Jordans, whatever the case may be. But I mean, it should be for emergencies or for, you carry a credit card because it's just convenient. I mean, if you're not carrying cash, it's less likely you're going to lose anything if you get robbed or you lose your wallet. So, credit cards can be turned off pretty quickly. You would contact the bank or even use an app on your phone to do it. But people just use them and buy things that are not appropriate. And then they wonder why they never get out of debt. And I get some of these people that come for financial advice. They're like, okay, well, I want to save $100 a month. Well, why bother? You're paying $300 in interest this month on credit cards. Stop. Pay down the credit card. Get out of debt with that. That's what matters.
Yeah, absolutely. That like you said, that interest rate that's going to kill you. I remember the 80s, man. Interest rates were what, 13%? 18 was really high, and
the prime lending rate at the beginning of the 1980s was over 15%, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they what they're charging for percentage rates now would have been loan sharking. I mean, it's crazy what the rates are now.
Christian Louboutins. Christian Louboutins. That's the shoe. That's the shoe. Women don't know what I'm talking about. Their shoes run from $795 a pair for high heels to $3,895. Christian Louboutins.
Wow.
And a bunch of those are bought on credit cards.
That kind of price, those things look better on the shelves than they do on my wife's feet. I'm sorry, I love my wife, but we're not that insane.
At $795, any shoe looks better on the shelf than it does on a woman's foot. I'm telling you.
Or
transgender's
money where
foot,
I
you know?
come from, maybe Trump kind of capital, but not John Grosvenor kind of capital.
Oh my goodness, that's just crazy. It's insane what those things cost.
That's how wealthy people become wealthy, is they know how to spend and manage their money, and they don't waste their money on nonsensical items when you can buy something more affordable and I mean sensible. That's what it comes down to, is something more sensible. It's kind of like what's his name here, Warren Buffett. He lives in a common 4-bedroom home that he raised his children. He never went and bought a mansion. He never went and lived an extravagant lifestyle. He just kept saving his money. That's how he became the wealthiest man in the world.
Well, it's Andrew Carnegie was the same way. I mean, people have been incredibly successful are like that. Some people do get a little carried away with their fancy yachts and exclusive this and exclusive that. But most people that are self-made got there because they were wise with their money. But those who got there because they're lucky, like Mark Cuban, really don't know what they're talking about. So those are the people stay away from. I can't believe that guy's on that Shark. What's that show called?
Oh yeah,
Shark Tank. Yeah. Yeah, he's dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, whenever I watch that show and he gets something, like I just start to groan. Oh god, here we go with bad business advice. Anyway, yeah, but no, Mark Cuban is the luckiest clown in America, a man who's accomplished very little, yet everyone thinks he's a brilliant businessman, and he's not. He just had the good fortune to have shares in broadcast.com, and Yahoo was desperate to get into the live video streaming market, which was non-existent at the time in the late 1990s. And they bought his company for well over $1 billion. The guy got like $750-800 million, and he had nothing. And good on him. But suddenly he seems to think he's a genius, makes a butt out of himself by buying the Dallas Mavericks and standing on the sidelines screaming like an idiot at every game. And that's how he made himself a household name. And suddenly they think he's a smart businessman. I have listened to Mark Cuban on programs, not that I intended to, but he just came out as a guest. And I've never once heard Mark Cuban say anything that would make him smarter than the 5th grader. Just saying.
A little Jeff Foxworthy in there.
Yeah, that was a great show. Smart. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? Yes, I am. Stop insulting me. But the twits you put in your program are not.
Yeah. Hey, there are some genius kids out there, though. I mean,
yeah. No, but I'm just saying it's just a general question. You ask adults, but it's kind of unfair too. I mean, kids are going to school and every day they're hearing these things fresh. And the last time somebody asked you the capital of Vermont, well, in your case, maybe not too far back, you're next up to, but the last time somebody in Miami-Dade County was asked what the capital of Vermont is was probably about 47 years ago in junior high school. So it's understandable that they don't know what the capital of Vermont is.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it Montpelier or something like that?
It is.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. See, some of us are smarter than 5th graders.
Hey, we have college kids that don't even understand there's 2 Washingtons in the United States.
Oh, there's lots of words.
No, if you say, name me the
there's
2.
There's lots of Washingtons, TJ.
No, but I
There's
mean,
Washington
the 2 probably
State,
like
Washington
State.
District
Yeah,
of Columbia. There's
no.
Cary, Washington.
They don't get that. They don't understand
that.
There's lots of Washingtons, man. Don't
they
you
don't.
know?
They don't. They have no clue.
No, she's talking about there was somebody
I know what she's
teaching at a
talking
school
about.
one time goes, wait a minute, there's a Washington
No,
Washington State or something.
When I went on pregnancy leave, I had one of my questions was, name me the 2 prominent Washingtons. And the teacher that was coming in to replace me said, can you leave me the answer? She just graduated from college. I'm like,
oh
yeah,
my goodness.
Hey, good job there. Yeah.
That's funny. No, but I can see that. I can see that being the case. Yeah. So, gosh, this is Joe Biden's last Christmas in the White House. Good riddance, eh? I start to say Todd, but John, you done choking there, man? We're at to send some EMTs up to the building.
Yeah,
let's wait a little bit.
Let's wait a little. Oh my goodness! Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love?
For over 30 years, she's been trying to collect that insurance.
I tell you.
It's not the same amount anymore. So no, you have to stay with us now.
Yeah, I know the dollars have been eaten away by inflation, John. So your passing is only worth a quarter what it was 4 years ago.
Well, I keep saying I'm in my prime, but the life insurance company says, no, you're not.
Yeah, but those premiums don't get smaller, do they?
They don't, boy. Hey, you know what time it is?
All right, that's it, folks. Stick around. We got news at the top of the hour. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Join us right here on the Common Sense Conservatives.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at wsmn.live.
ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. Not a happy Christmas for some people in Oxford, Michigan. The town north of Detroit is where, say police, a gunman started shooting people at random. One person killed, 2 others hospitalized.
We were just sitting inside watching a holiday program, and we heard 4 very quick gunshots. I mean, it's pretty distinctive when you hear a gunshot.
Ear witness Tom Binkowski.
It's Christmas Eve. You know, what are people thinking?
The suspected shooter, a convicted felon, is in custody. Investigators trying to determine what caused an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 to crash during a flight from Baku, the capital, to Grozny in Chechnya. 38 people were killed, but 29 survived that plane crash. Fire in a restaurant linen service provider in Philadelphia. A 3-alarm blaze Christmas Eve that took firefighters hours to extinguish. Nearby residents urged to stay inside while air quality is monitored. This is ABC News. A consumer watchdog recently reported that popular air fryers from Chinese manufacturers iGoStar and Xiaomi are doing more than cooking. The report claims the connected devices are storing users' data on Chinese servers.
It may ask you for access to your contacts. It may ask you access to your location. It might ask you to access the microphone, and you can say no, and double no.
Cybersecurity expert Scott Spiro at Sugar Shot.
Consumers should demand better privacy protections from manufacturers and regulators. And until those are in place, really the safest bet is to stay informed, minimize your exposure, and push back against unnecessary data collection.
Maybe easier said than done.
Experts say do your research on a company's data collection practices, read reviews, and when downloading an app to control the device, limit as many permissions you give as possible. When in doubt, stick with an appliance that doesn't connect to the internet or your phone.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert. I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Spend time where it matters most, with loved ones, not worrying about hidden fees. At Campers Inn RV, we offer honest pricing with all freight and prep fees at our cost. No markups ever. While competitors inflate their fees up to 3 times, we believe in fair, transparent pricing that lets you focus on holiday joy. With RVs starting at just $13,995, there are no surprises, only affordable adventures waiting to happen. This season, celebrate your way at Campers Inn RV.
And we're back, folks. Merry Christmas, wherever you find yourselves around the world. Frohe Weihnachten, Feliz Navidad. Jacinda Cass. What's it? Cass? I get it wrong. I was trying to do Afrikaans. Casvies. Jacinda Casvies. For our folks in South Africa who speak Afrikaans, the 13 million South Africans who find that as their first language. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you back with us on the Common Sense Conservatives. Tonight, from our studio in Nashua, New Hampshire, it's John Grosvenor with the indomitable TJ, who's there in the studio with him, busy looking at her phone, playing social media most of the time. I can see that. I can see that, TJ. I know what you're up to. And I'm here. I'm Chris White in the studio at home in central Pennsylvania, where there's no snow, but that's okay, because I realized now, when it snows, that just means I have to shovel it, John, and I don't feel like shoveling it. The only thing I want to shovel is Joe Biden out of the White House.
You know, you think after all these years, I'd have myself my own plow truck instead of hiring somebody. As long as my driveway is, certainly not shoveling it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I might have decided to buy a little, lawnmower with a blade on it, that sort of thing, something like that, a little mini tractor. But they've tripled in price under Joe Biden's inflation. But hey, this is the greatest economy in the world. That Biden inflation, Joe's legacy. Not much of a legacy from my standpoint. I don't know what you think.
I'm just the sort of guy that goes out and finds a junk snowblower and puts a new motor in it, and away I go.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, do what you got to do. I mean, after watching those clowns on Gold Rush, my goodness, there's some real dumb idiots out there in the world. I mean, those guys.
Oh, wait. I got what is this? Common sense is by definition liberal. Okay. I didn't think it was adherent to being liberal or conservative. I thought common sense was just some people should have.
Billy Payner's buddy coming over here to troll us.
How many of you have finished high school?
I think that would be all of us. And high school, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degrees, postgraduate study, taught at undergraduate university, taught at postgraduate, published author. Hit the road, leftists. You're not welcome here.
Okay, so this is the most liberal thing, right? Trump caused inflation by his tariffs.
What's tariffs? Of course, they can't name the tariffs. Yeah. So inflation was at less than 1% when Donald Trump left office. Simple as that. And it averaged less than 2.4% throughout his 4 years in office, which is normal for a healthy economy. Inflation has hit 30 or 40% under the current administration, although the government lies and claims it never went above 9%, which is a fairy tale. Look, don't entertain this clown. Somebody's just being a clown. Let's just talk about Christmas.
Pretty much the end of it. He's just being nonsensical and trying his best to be insulting. And, well, you got to have intelligence for that.
What is this? Oh, okay. Maybe he's the same guy because now he's using two lines for it.
2 lines.
Yeah, no, he's also coming over. Someone coming over on
I know who
Facebook.
that is. Danny is. I know who Danny is.
Anyway, so the Christmas, again, back to it not being Christmassy. For those who weren't here in the first hour, one of the things that I've noticed this year, and of course, my birthday is on December 25th, so it's always been it's special to me in many reasons, not just the celebration of the Christ child or the commercial sector holiday or the snow or all those things, but it's always been kind of special for me. And this year, look, I'm not depressed. I'm not bummed out. I'm not eating cat food yet. I'm not eating the cats and dogs. That's in Springfield, not here. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the people's pets. That's not happening in my household, but it's not been a Christmassy Christmas. And it has a lot to do with the powers that be in advertising, in corporate world, and in the media who are downplaying Christmas, and then political authorities who are, having Winterfest and get-togethers and not celebrating Christmas in Christian countries. At least in Syria, in a majority Christian town, when they ripped down the Christmas tree, people were up in arms and they demonstrated. And and even the Islamists said, this will not stand. The tree will be back up tomorrow. Now, I don't know if the tree came back up the next day, but it's not been a Christmassy feeling. The fastest growing faith in the world is Christianity. And we are seeing the erosion, eradication of Christianity by secularist, leftist, progressive whack jobs in Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, the United Kingdom, especially Sweden, the United States, trying to obliterate Christmas. Why do we have to have tolerance for other faiths when our faith isn't tolerated? It's ridiculous. Sirens.
Question that.
John, are they coming for you?
Have
a fire truck. Boy, that is not a sound you want to hear on Christmas evening.
No, it's disturbing when you see a fire truck rolling by with his lights flashing and siren blaring. You're concerned that somebody's tree done set fire to their house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always a concern this time of year. But at least in some ways we do progress. We're a lot better. Think back to when we were kids, and before our generation, when people had actual candles on Christmas trees. Imagine my houses burned down back then. Before we had light bulbs.
I don't remember candles when we were kids, but I certainly know in the 1800s they had them, and I couldn't understand. I saw a picture. I saw black and white, an old picture of the 1800s, where they had a tree with candles on it, all lit up, and but the tree was sparse. You know what I mean? It wasn't like one of these thick, filled-in trees that we use today. It was very sparse, so they had branches, and there was a gap between the flames and all that good stuff. But still, I just couldn't see putting flame inside of a tree and thinking that's okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you. By the way, just a heads up, that clown was on my channel, and I have not banned anybody on my original YouTube channel. Gosh, I can't remember. Probably only maybe 4 years. They just got banned. So until they create a new channel, a new account, and show up in about 10 minutes, we'll have about 10 minutes free from that nonsense. Anyway,
yeah, he was nuts. There's got to be something wrong with people. I do not go to liberal shows and start making comments regarding the liberals and making fun of them and poking at them like this.
John,
somebody to do this. It's kind of
now you have to understand that these are sad little people with very bad inferiority complexes who spend most of the time with their member in their left or right hand, 18 hours a day. So, I've got nothing but sympathy for these losers. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you want to be a person that comes in as a conversation, you disagree with the policy positioning, you don't think that it's wise for the United States to protect its borders, and you have a cogent argument why that's self-defeating, then that's something to listen to. But, if you've got your right hand gripped on your member, cutting off your blood flow to your brain and to your crotch, we don't really want to hear from you.
Well, there you go. It's kind of reminds me of that old social media joke. There I was battling with memes or whatever it was, Yeah, you're really making a difference with all that. I'm telling you.
Well, apparently they came in droves because my audience just disappeared by half when I blocked that guy.
You just took away their entertainment.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yikes. Itchy Boots. Some Itchy Boots. You guys ever heard of Itchy Boots? That's this Dutch woman who apparently is incredibly wealthy. I think she got wealthy in some industry, maybe finance or something like that. And she must be in her 30s, maybe 40s. She rides all over the world in dangerous locales on a motorcycle and records it all and puts it on Facebook. And she makes a ton of money off Facebook, but she doesn't need it. She's incredibly wealthy. But she's had some interesting adventures. Apparently she had her motorcycle stolen in Iraq. But she did get it back damaged, and she had 2 air tags on it. Yikes. Anyway, yeah, but Itchy Boots, interesting. I tried to get her as a guest on my program once upon a time, and she politely said, no, thanks, I'm busy. So I contacted her when she was no longer traveling, and then she didn't answer that time. Maybe I should get the message. Anyway, but so it's Christmas evening, and here we are live. It's not recorded. This is a live program tonight, folks. We could have taken the easy route out and just had the best of the Common Sense Conservatives playing tonight, but here we are. We've got John and TJ in the studio there in Nashua, and apparently we've got Todd McKinley lost somewhere in the hills of East Tennessee looking for the Unabomber, but I think he's in prison.
I heard he was at a party, but yeah.
A party? Oh my goodness. New York City. What's going on here? Anyway.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. So guys, the New Year's coming. What are you most excited about in the New Year, John?
Well, we're gonna have an exciting January 3rd when conservatives take over the government, and January 6th when we get to see Kamala Harris, her butt kicking, and then January 20th, man, is going to be a new day.
So you're excited about January, okay? TJ's she's got a big smile on her face too. Are you also excited about January, or what about the year?
Well, this will be the year that I actually retire, so I'm getting excited about that.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand. The year that did you say?
This is the year that I'll be retiring.
Did you say retire?
Yes.
Oh, I heard retire. That's what I heard. Sorry.
Retire.
No.
Yeah, retire.
Retire.
I thought, maybe you blew a flat there or something.
No, I'm going to retire.
Okay. Boy, that accent, man, I'll tell you. Boy, America's got all kinds of accents.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Well, we're the original accent.
Oh, is that how New England's original accent?
Yeah.
No, you're the original rabble rousers. You're the guys that want to throw all the tea into the bay, as I recall.
True.
Yeah, always causing trouble up there. Wasn't Shay's Rebellion in that part of the world too? You guys are always been troublemakers.
Massachusetts, bro.
Yeah, always been troublemakers up there.
And look what happened in Massachusetts.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah,
It's
people
off the
used to
deep
have
end.
backbones and stand up for things, and now they just roll over and take it.
I remember I flew to, where was I going? I can't recall where that was, but I flew through Logan, and I hate that airport. That is a horrible airport.
Yeah.
But I flew through Logan, and my flight, I think it was going to trip to South Africa. My flight just didn't connect, and so they had to put me up. American had to put me in a hotel, and I went up in a hotel downtown, which is actually quite nice. But man, what a headache to get there and back with an Uber. Boston. I hadn't been.
Now you got
hadn't been
Uber,
down-
but
What's that?
now you got Uber. But,
No, that's what it was. It was an Uber. I took an Uber. So, but I had not been downtown in Boston in so long. It's nice down there. It was lovely. I walked around for quite a bit, took some nice photos. It was a nice evening, but I was supposed to be on a flight to South Africa, not sitting in, not sitting. Yeah, exactly. That was not exactly where I intended to be. But anyway,
Boston's actually, I mean, yeah, okay, it's liberal and all that other stuff, but it's beautiful. I think Boston's a beautiful city. When I go to Boston,
really,
I
I
enjoy
think
it.
it's okay. I think it's okay.
It's a walking city.
Okay. All
You
right.
have
the
to
original
walk.
15 minutes.
Yeah, you have to walk around. It's not a place you really want to drive.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That
It's-
makes a
well,
lot of
that's
sense.
subways.
But then I'm accustomed to that. You know, you go to German cities and they have walking pedestrian
Yeah.
zones only. You know, that's the whole thing. And even in places that don't have pedestrian zones, like London, everything is walking. You know, you go on the tube, the underground, you pop up, you go to shops, you walk around. You know, you're not driving there. I mean, if you drive in London, I've done it. It's not a good idea, especially now because they have control zones and it's not clearly marked, and you get socked with these dang fines for going in the wrong congestion zone at the wrong time. It's just a bunch of liberal nonsense to rob people of their money out of their pockets. I hate it.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with large cities. Well, one of the things about Boston is I know it. I've been down there. You know what I mean? I've been around Boston. I've delivered there. I picked up there. I've when you're putting a 50-foot trailer with a road tractor in between these parked cars parallel this narrow lane road and stuff, and you get to know the city pretty good. So when you know something, you kind of you can see different aspects of it. Where you're not from there, it becomes overwhelming.
Well, I'm not overwhelmed by Boston. I just, it's okay. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. It's okay. It's a decent town. Yeah. So.
Okay, I see how it is. Mr. Harrisburg.
Oh, I don't get. I know. Listen, Harrisburg. Give me a break. That's not even my cup of tea. Actually, I kind of like Portsmouth. It's not too bad there in New Hampshire.
Yeah, no,
Portsmouth is pretty nice.
That's a nice downtown. I mean, when I was there, it was nice down by the water and everything. So yeah.
And if you have the chance, go check out some of the old houses and stuff.
Yeah, no, I did that. Excuse me, I just got a cramp here. I did that my last trip up there. I took a vacation a number of years back and drove from Fort Meade up the Hudson Valley into Canada, and then found my way over to Quebec, and then turned back east and went through New Brunswick and out to Nova Scotia, and then came back down. Went to PE Island as well, and came back into Maine. And so I was in Portsmouth on the way back. That was on that trip. It's nice. I like New England. I just don't like the oppressive leftist governments all over the place.
Well, you'd be surprised how many conservative people there are in New England.
Yeah.
It's not like it's so offset and imbalanced. I mean,
no. I don't know. I know that there's plenty of conservatives. New Hampshire has plenty of conservatives, but it has turned its back in presidential elections on conservative candidates. And Maine is a lovely place.
Growing up, New Hampshire was a big red state.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was very
it
Republican.
still is on the state level.
But
federals will
but
be
even
losing.
but even our federals were red. So it's really has changed a lot. It's those mass people coming over the border.
We've had a lot of northern migration up here.
Yeah.
Or southern. So out of the like she said, Massachusetts. But I said on this show at the beginning, we have a southern border problem.
Yeah.
We with the ideals of
You do indeed have a southern border problem. And we're not talking about the Rio Grande, are we?
Well,
No, we're not.
the strange thing was, we lived in Vermont for one whole month, 30 days. We lived in Vermont, and we got kicked out.
You got kicked out.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't get kicked out literally, but
Well, we were asked to leave because we had, at the time, I had Florida plates on my car, and where I was staying, John was on the road, and the house got, all of a sudden, my house got broken into. I'm watching this man break into the house. So I called the police, and they went, well, you're from Florida, and, we don't like foreigners up here. That's what he called me, a foreigner. And I said, I grew up in New Hampshire, honey, and I know where you go grocery shopping across the border, because you cross the bridge and you're in New Hampshire, and that's where all the grocery stores are. And then we have no taxes in New Hampshire, so everybody goes there. But really, they asked us to it's a good thing we should just leave.
What she's driving at here is they like to keep people from migrating into New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So what they do is this guy's got, say, 100-acre farm.
That was Vermont.
Vermont.
They don't want you said New Hampshire. They don't want
They don't
Vermont,
want people in Vermont. So in Vermont, to keep the growth down, they got a 100-acre farm.
Yeah.
And this guy can't afford the taxes anymore. And he decides, well, you know what? I'm going to sell off some of my property. I'm not farming anymore.
Subdivide it.
But the problem is, it's not legal for them to subdivide it. They have to maintain the property as it is by law, and this keeps people from coming in and building up developments and stuff. Now you got to realize this is the state of the party of the left, who talks about DEI and all inclusive, but they don't want people living there, right? Let's bring in all the illegals, but let's not bring them here.
The state that keeps voting Bernie Sanders in.
Yeah, well, enough said. It's a shame because Vermont's such a lovely location. It's beautiful there.
It's a very beautiful state.
Yeah, I used to be a shareholder in Vermont Teddy Bear a long time ago.
Oh, the teddy bear guys. Yeah.
Been to the factory. That's had one of their original Explorer bears. They were like from the early years.
Explorer bear. I remember those.
Yeah, they were shocked. They're like, you had one of those? Yeah, still got it. Yeah. But early on, they made a good faith effort to produce their bears entirely out of material sourced from the United States. But that lasted a few years, and now a lot of their crap comes from China. So I'm no longer a shareholder.
Ben and Jerry's, look what they're going through right now.
Well, they're not even American. They're owned by an overseas company.
No, but they're all into all the trying to make sure that with the new DEI and all that there was a big thing that in the paper that the Abenaki Indians want their land back.
I bet they aren't going to give their land to them, are they?
Yep, because and then guess where Ben and Jerry sits right on there. So they've been fighting that.
Oh, listen, I tell you, it's the hard thing.
To see that.
I love Canada, but their governments drive me nuts because whenever you go to a government website in Canada, we recognize that we're illegally occupying the land of the Dene people. They're ancestral. Oh, shut up. There were like 1,000 people in Canada before you people showed up. It's not like they occupied the whole darn continent. Get over yourselves.
I have relatives that still live on the reservation up there, on the Micmac reservation.
Oh, Micmacs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
By the way, Ellie says hi. She recognizes you. I don't have the screen turned so you can see.
Micmacs, they're part of the Algonquin peoples, are they not?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of nations that live on that reservation because they all got pushed up there. My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
Okay, interesting.
So a lot of them got pushed way up into all areas of Canada.
It's a shame how history is distorted, and we're misled. For instance, we get this nonsense about how, Europeans committed genocide against Native Americans. But the funny little thing is that from the time of our founding in New England, the Native American groups there held sway and were even or ahead of European settlers for centuries. It wasn't until King Philip's War that the tide began to turn against groups in New England.
Mm-hmm.
And even to this day, some of these tribes still exist. So, the distortions in history really are annoying. It really frustrates me. I just saw something recently where they were talking about, well, we finally definitively proved where syphilis comes from. Really? I knew where it came from the Americas, and was taken back to Europe after Europeans knocked boots with Native Americans and carried it back to Europe. And it was devastating because Europeans had no immunity to it whatsoever, just like smallpox coming this direction, influenza coming this direction.
I'm getting ready to bring Todd in, Chris. But check out the comments. Your buddy came back as the second coming.
told you.
The second coming.
I told you he's back. It would take him 10 minutes to come up with a sign.
Oh, look at Todd coming from his farm.
Hey, Todd.
Merry Christmas. Sorry, I'm over at some people's houses. They're doing dinner. We're doing presents and everything. So I was like, man, I need to log on to the show. I almost forgot. Jesus. But look behind me.
Hey! I don't think the Christ child had anything to do with your tardiness.
No, but I got Kramer behind me. Look at that.
I see that. Todd, are you feeling better? You sound like you're still a little congested there.
A little bit, yeah. So, but that's why a little under the weather. But I just wanted to log on real quick and just say hello, Merry Christmas to everybody, and I appreciate you guys doing the show. You're doing a heck of a job, and next week I'll be definitely not under the weather. I hope, or hopefully I'll be alive and well.
John, I have to say that all the nice things that Todd just said, clearly he hasn't been listening to the program tonight. All the things we said about him.
No. Well, I bet you probably have some people talking about you, right?
Oh, he has. He has. He's got the Live for Life over here, just giving him all sorts of.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I got a guy popping on my channel, to troll. So we just gave him a little smackdown here. Learn a
There you
lesson the
go.
hard way. Yeah,
That's what you
we
should
gave him a little of that Trump deportation service, early Christmas present.
Amen. Yeah, and of course, a few more days. What we got? Less than a month now. He'll be inaugurated noon on January 20th.
Yeah, that's just
Looking
around the
forward to
corner.
it.
We got to keep him alive. The failed
Yep.
Secret Service, keep them away from him so he's safe.
You got it. Yeah. So I'll be up there for the inauguration on the 17th of January through the 21st. So, and I've talked to the guys on the inaugural committee. I said I offered my services to volunteer. So if you guys are up there, let me know.
Well, I'm considering going, but I was just going to be in the crowd out there. I wasn't going to get tickets or anything, but maybe I'll chat with you and see if there's a more feasible or better way for me to do this then, because
Good
it's
deal.
going to be historic. And so like January 6th, I'd like to cover it. So it'd be pretty cool.
Bingo. All right. I'll definitely be in touch. I mean, of course, we got next week. We got several shows between now and then. So.
Yeah, we'll be live on New Year's Day once again. But I mean, New Year's evening is not quite the same as giving your Christmas evening to the viewers, which is a little more in depth there. So
You got it. Absolutely
Well,
right.
observation. I can see you being sick. You've missed your razor. You keep missing that razor. You can be a bearded patriot before too long. Billy
Oh, I
Beard-
know. I shaved a couple of days ago, so but it's all right.
Well,
Well,
just
I
let it
shaved
go,
today.
man. Let it go.
I
You're a bearded patriot.
Yeah, you're like Santa Claus.
yeah, but I took an inch and a half off earlier today, so I shortened
All
it up
right,
again.
it looks good. It looks good. Look kind of like Kenny Rogers back in the 70s, man.
Yeah, there you go.
The gambler over here. He's a gambling at Christmas.
No, I'm Kenny Rogers. I'm more of an Islands in the Stream Kenny Rogers.
All right, that's a good song too.
That is what we are. Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other. Making love to one another. Oh,
That's a
gosh.
good song.
Yeah, and Dolly's still kicking it, man. She's still out there. Dolly Parton.
Yeah, she's still looking good too, by the way.
I don't know. I saw an ad with Dolly Parton. I thought it was an AI, but her voice.
Oh yeah,
She's got a billboard campaign up around the country right now for some volunteer stuff or non-governmental stuff. It's the billboards at my grocery store. I haven't paid much attention to it, but I'm like, wow, there's Dolly. I've seen her in a while. Yeah, but no, that's Islands in the Stream. I think that was one of his best songs ever, and of course, he performed it with Dolly Parton. Just brilliant song. Really, I mean, it's great. It's great. The melody is great. The lyrics are great. The performers are fantastic. It's just one of those songs that just stands the test of time.
Bingo, you got it. Yeah, a lot of those songs back then still resonate because you grew up with them, but they were genuine hits, if you will, not of this, the beatbox stuff that they put together in a mixtape, if you will, or they actually played instruments back then, so it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got the clown over here again. I just had him create a third account.
That's great.
I love it.
Back in the day,
He figured out how to create accounts very quickly now. It took him 20 minutes for the first one, 5 minutes for the second one, and 2 minutes for the third one.
yeah, but like you were saying, Todd, back in the day, it was you had to have talent.
Yeah, you had to have talent. You had to be able to sing. You had to be able to play an instrument. Had to be able to dance. Whatever. Nowadays, it's just whatever they can mix up. Yeah, they mixed it up.
There were a few artists that I was like, it would have been better off if you found another singer. Great art writers. They can construct some great music, but it's just prefer not to hear it.
Well, some people can do it all. I mean, I write the songs. Barry Manilow, man, what a great lyricist. What a great performer.
Oh, yeah. No. ABBA, Barry Manilow.
No, but I'm talking about a guy who wrote songs for others.
He wrote a lot of songs.
I'm just busting on you there. I'm trying to return an old joke.
Don't be picking on ABBA, man, because that's fighting words. That's the greatest band of all time. Waterloo, think of me, baby, whenever you. Anyway, don't be picking on ABBA, man. That's we're gonna have to get into that one there. So
yeah. Well, anyway. I'm going to rejoin this party if that's all right for you guys. I'm glad you guys hold the show down. I appreciate it.
No worries. I didn't think I'd ever see a portrait of Kramer in somebody's house on Christmas evening.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing that.
I'm in their basement music room here. They got a little music room down here, so I'm sitting at the piano. So.
Well, of course, we all know Kramer's famous for his musical talent. Not
right.
Did I see a Joe Biden for 2024 sign?
No, you did not, bro. No, not here. Not here. I hope not.
I have one thing to say to you, Todd. Why aren't you wearing the ribbon? Wear the ribbon.
Without that age ribbon. All right, I'll let you guys get at it, man.
Merry Christmas, Todd.
Good to see you, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, guest appearance from Todd McKinley, our co-host, who's taking it easy this evening. He's shamming, as we say in the Army.
Shaman. We used to call it shinging when we were doing restaurant work.
Wow, boy, this guy is determined here to get in here with his trolling. I've blocked 3 accounts now in the span of 10 minutes.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh my goodness. Anyway,
Hey, I guess we're the only ones live. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere else
everyone
to
else
go but
is
here. So
everybody else is phoning it in, like the Biden regime. They're phoning it in. Yeah, it's and look, I mean, in some places they are doing things. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating people's pets.
You should make a song on that.
They have. They made a couple of them. A couple memes are really, really good. One of them got 100 million views. It's hilarious. I love the videos. Look, this one reason why I just go to TikTok to watch these things, because that's where they prop up the most. But they have pets, the dogs are sitting there, or the cats, like the cat's licking its paw, and like they're eating the dogs. The cat licks its paw. They're eating the cats, and the cat's head turns and like gives you this stark look, like, what? They're eating the cats? What are you talking about? Or they jump up in the air, and like there's this one of this I don't know what this dog is, but he's like, I don't know, like a bulldog or something. He's all gray. I don't know what he is, but he's a gorgeous dog, and he's sitting there and he's got his head sideways, and they keep playing. They're eating the dogs, and he's like, he tilts his head one way, like what? What are you talking about? It's just too funny. Oh, that is one of the best memes ever. Anyway, it's a lot better than the Hawk Tua girl. Oh my goodness, you know that story?
Oh God, man, is she still having problems?
Oh, she's having problems. She's probably going to wind up in prison.
No, I think she got set up. I really do. I think somebody approached her and said, "Hey, you got a name? Let's put this together. We'll do this whole thing." And I have a feeling they took the money and ran and left her to twist. I don't know the truth. I don't know if that's true or not. But that was my take on it when it first happened. I thought this has got to be a setup against her.
Well, all I got to say is that it just shows you the sad state of society when that makes someone famous, saying something so vile and disgusting like that. Yep. And that made her famous. And then suddenly it turned into massive fame, hundreds of thousands of followers on this channel. She creates a podcast and she speaks nothing but nonsense with her annoying accent. I'm sorry, that's a grating accent she has. Just saying.
She came off as kind of cute and fun and stuff like that. People gravitate to her. A lot of people try to imitate on things like TikTok and stuff, and twist off it, and they couldn't pull it off because they didn't have her personality. So she had a little bit of a thing at the beginning there, and I saw some of her podcasts.
It sounds like one of her viewers here I've got on the program.
No, I don't view her. I have come across her a couple of times, like on TikTok, and I've heard some of her podcasts. I'm going, oh, she's not going to make it.
Well, I have to say this. She comes across to me as someone who makes white trash look bad.
I think that's pretty much where she went with the podcast. That's why I thought she wasn't going to make it. I think people are getting sick and tired of the trash. But at any rate, I don't see where she's brilliant enough to start come up with her own crypto. And that's why I think maybe somebody came along and says, "Hey, she's got a name. We could sell it off her name and what she's created or what befell upon her," and took advantage of her. And I think they just left her high and dry. That's what I think.
Well, the last time a young lady told me that she was taken advantage of by older folks who supposedly knew better than her would be one Jenna Ellis, who took a plea bargain after claiming that she was misled by other attorneys, even though she was a practicing attorney who was actually an attorney for the president of the United States, but then took a plea bargain for a non-existent crime in order to collude with the Democrats in the Georgia election case. Now that case is going to die on the vine and Trump's going to win again, guess who the biggest fool in America is? It's Jenna Ellis.
Yeah.
So, when you're an adult, it's okay to be naive, but, there's got to be someone around this Hawk Tua girl, this, what's her name? Haley Welch or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Got to be somebody around her who is an adult that says, "Hey, listen, sweetheart, you do know that these things are mostly scams. You probably shouldn't get involved in this." But the problem is that people see money and they want to take advantage of that fame and milk it all they can. It's okay to milk your fame, but when you find yourself in a civil lawsuit, you're not going to be happy.
Hey, Chris, have we talked about your extended car warranty yet?
I don't have an extended car warranty.
You didn't hear about that scam. You didn't catch that when it came through.
No, I don't have that one.
I'm still getting phone calls. It's like I don't fall for these stupid scams, but there's got to be people out there that are falling for them because they're just continuously going on. Kind of like that whole thing about Facebook and you're my source to retrieve my password. So when it comes to you, please send it to me. That scam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. You get the romance scams all the time, the Romeo things, where
Oh.
people think they're, and in these, it's usually women who are the victims of. That's not stereotype. It's just a statement of fact, because women oftentimes you get widowers, or you get women who've been divorced, or have bad circumstances, and they're lonely, and they fall for these scams. Men can fall for them too, but it's just more common that we see it happen to women because they're targeted more. And they find themselves vulnerable, and you feel bad for them, but at the same time you're like, how could you be so stupid? It's really crazy. I mean, the number of people who are defrauded. There's a case in South Africa where a white woman in South Africa fell in love with a non-existent person, a white Afrikaans speaking South African who never communicated to her in Afrikaans but communicated to her in English. And there's a reason for that. He was a Nigerian scamster. She gave him her life savings. What the heck? Why would you do that? Never met the guy, obviously.
People are,
I mean,
well, okay, I'll say it like this: people rate people
Lonely.
based on
Yeah.
people rate people based on their own value system. So you assume everybody else is a nice person because you're a nice person. And
But
truth of
see-
the matter is, they
see-
prey on people like that.
I grew up in not the best of circumstances, so I don't trust anybody.
Exactly. Once you've had
Me-
experience,
me
you know
too.
better.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I look at things with a jaded eye. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like someone who, a very good person, very honorable person, and told me that they gave my name to Pete Hegseth for an appointment as a senior position in the Department of Defense. That's all fine and dandy, and I did give that person my curriculum vitae, my CV, to pass it on for Hegseth's team. But I am expecting nothing to come of that. If something comes of that, I'll just be flabbergasted. And that's not a strike against the person who's doing it. They're a good, honorable person. It's just that I'm like Reagan: trust but verify.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, and I say it all the time. Just even with government officials, always question authority. Always question their intentions. You see this all the time. Bills that they benefit from.
Oh, now something just came up while we're talking about this and scams and such. Tony, who's up in Alberta, said the Honey Browser extension scammed all the biggest YouTubers. I get where he's coming from now. The Honey, the extension that goes in your browser, you get discounts and you get points back from merchants and stuff like that. I thought he was talking about the users were being scammed, because I've been paid out from Honey. They deposit money in my account. I don't spend anything for it. I don't pay anything for it. I just shop at certain retailers and I get something back. And I only shop at the retailer I want to shop at. If it happens to have the Honey kickback, I'll take it. So what he's saying is that the people who are merchants or in this case content creators, they were being cheated by Honey, who was keeping most of the money. Okay, I get that now, where you're coming from. That was a conversation on a broadcast on my program earlier this week. So now I understand where it's coming from. But I was unaware of a Honey scam from the browser extension that's related to shopping sites. But I'll pay attention to that. That's now owned by PayPal. So if there's been a scam, that becomes PayPal's legal problem now.
I never heard of it, but then again, I don't deal with that sort of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I don't deal with it on YouTube either. I didn't even know I could, use it as a content creator on YouTube. No, but if I go to my PayPal account, which I'll do here in a moment, excuse me, I had a bit of cough there, and I'll look, and like I say, it used to be its own standalone thing, but PayPal has taken over now. And so if you go to your PayPal account, you've got, where's that? Where the heck's it at? Where's my points at? Have I been scammed? Where's that?
Oh, crap.
No. Now it's part of
You
PayPal.
are live on the radio, just discovering that, Chris White.
No, it's part of PayPal rewards now, and you get money back from PayPal. So I've got like $84 in there right now. So
nice.
Quite a bit. Yep. So let me look up Honey and see if I still have an account there. But Honey, is that it? I'm just looking to see. Yeah, that's it. So there you go. Yeah, and I still have my account there. I can still log into Honey, but it says PayPal Honey. Yep. So you get discounts on things and stuff like that. So apparently they're cheating the people who were the merchants, but not the consumers. I mean, I still got the exact same number of points. I can redeem them right now for cash. So anyway, yep. So anyway, and it shows here I booked when I was in South Africa through agoda.com. I booked back in June a place, and I got $1.52 back from it, and then I got $2.46 back from another one, and $1.20. So I mean, I got something back from it, and that's money I can get anytime. But that's something they work out with the merchants. So apparently the merchants one's being cheated, not us.
So we're talking about money, and it makes me think that Trump had just appointed somebody to be the cryptocurrency czar. What do you think, man? You think this country's going to go into cryptocurrency to deplete the paper money and coinage? And
Well, I look, I don't know. I've been asked this question a lot over the past 5 years about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum and now Doge and all these other things. And my point behind all this stuff is that for the people that think this stuff is secure and the blockchain can't be broken, you've never worked for the National Security Agency. Just leave it at that. Okay. Anything can be broken. It's just a matter of how much processing power you put against it. And if it can be compromised, then, it's out of control of someone, then, so Bitcoin is famous because there's only so many Bitcoin. Well, they just slice them into more pieces. So effectively they're increasing the supply. People, no, not increasing the supply. Well, yeah, you are. I mean, I can only cut a dollar bill so many pieces, but you can digitally splice a Bitcoin into thousands of a Bitcoin. I can't do that with a dollar bill and use it, but you can do it with Bitcoin. So anyway,
the dollar bill does have pennies. It has lower denominations.
yes. But back in the day with gold coins and silver coins, when the gold coin or silver coin was worth more than what you were trading for, you would snip it and take a little piece of the gold coin or silver coin because that actual value as a precious metal. And so you have lots of Spanish doubloons that have little chips out of them where they've cut pieces off for trade rather than the whole coin. But you can only go so far into the dollar, 100 units, it's a penny. But with Bitcoin, you can just keep subdividing it, trading a portion of a portion of a portion of a portion, which in effect is, making more units available for trade. And people are always arguing, yes, but it's limited. Yeah, okay, you might be limited by so many Bitcoins total, but when
it's
you
limited on shares, but as the shares gain value, then the coin gains value, then they can divide it down based on its value.
But they can always divide even when it has no value into a fraction. The point is you can divide as many fractions as you want. If they had a limit, if they said, okay, there's 20 billion Bitcoins and you can't divide them. That's it, 20 billion. Well, then we're talking about something that, truly is under control. But when you can keep subdividing into fractions of it's anyway. So
no,
look,
I
wouldn't
argue against you on it because I'm not in favor of cryptocurrency. I'm very suspicious of it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my main concerns is, okay, Biden was looking at it. He put together a team of people to work with different agencies because he wanted to look into cryptocurrency. It didn't happen to the Biden administration. Now the Trump administration is coming in. He's appointing somebody to be a crypto coin czar. And now he's going to pursue this thing. And the Treasury Department, from my understanding, is the only agency and the only entity that can print currency in the United States. Or in this case, it would be manufacture, right? So when we have a U.S. crypto dollar, does that mean that Bitcoin now becomes obsolete or illegal?
No, why would it? It's a private trading system. If people want to invest in it, it's like people buy stocks or shares or something. It's no different than that in many respects. So Bitcoin will survive. The only problem with Bitcoin is if governments try to regulate it out of existence and try to get their fingers in on it. That's the problem with Bitcoin.
As of right now, they call it a commodity. They don't call it a currency.
Well, that's to avoid regulation and so much, but that's what it is. It's a commodity.
So basically, anything by any other name is still a currency. So that's like with Obamacare. They said, we're going to fine you if you don't have Obamacare. And the Supreme Court said, you can't fine people. It's illegal for Congress to fine people, but you can tax them. So they changed the language from fine to tax and legislated from the bench on it. And it's like, wait a minute, but whatever you call it, if you intended for it to be a fine, it's still a fine. Whether it's a tax or not, it's still a fine.
Whatever people use to exchange goods and services, whether it's cowrie shells or it's oyster shells or it's gold, it's tin, it's crypto, it's dollars, it's marks, it's yen, whatever it is, it's only as valuable as what people are willing to accept for it or trade for it. Now, that's a bit of an overstatement because the value of the dollar is affected by things beyond your control, beyond my control.
GDP and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, well, and trade and political decisions that are beyond our control. But the point is that if people lose confidence or faith in a currency, it will collapse. The only reason the euro survived the period when Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Ireland, their economies were on the verge of total collapse a decade ago. The only reason it survived is because the Germans were able to pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the economy. And normally that would have get people to flee from the euro. But the problem is that there's no global currencies anymore. When I was in the army in the 1980s, there were a number of global secure currencies. People would trade in dollars, yen, marks, Swiss francs, British pounds. But those currencies are just a shadow of what they once were. First off, there's no Deutschmark. It's gone. It's been replaced by the euro. The Swiss franc is a tiny economy, and Swiss banking standards, which one of the reasons why people consider it a reserve currency, they no longer protect the money there. They'll help governments track down illicit funds. And so Swiss banks have a hard time making money like they used to. The UK's economy is a rounding error compared to much of the world. They're no longer the world's third largest economy. They've slipped to 5 or 6 or something like that. So the pound is not what it once was. So when the euro was in trouble and it should have collapsed, people didn't flee to the dollar as the last line of defense to put their money in, because the dollar is also in the crapper. We were spending money we didn't have. We had quantitative easing. Every time you turn around, the Federal Reserve is spitting out $600 billion of more money that doesn't exist, and flooding and cheapening, flooding the supply, increasing the supply of dollars and cheapening the value. The more you have of something, the less valuable it is. I mean, if I could walk outside and all over my front yard, there were pounds and pounds of gold bars laying around, people wouldn't pick them up because they're just everywhere. It's like grass or leaves. You don't need that. It's not valuable at some point. It has a physical use for fillings, for electronics, but I mean, and jewelry. But if everybody has access to gold, then it loses its value. And it's the same thing with dollars when you print too many of them. That's why the euro didn't collapse. But money is only worth what people are willing to trade for.
So when we created this country, when our forefathers created this country, everything was based on the gold and silver standard. And the reason why is because gold and silver is precious metals and will maintain a value. And you're right, with paper money, there's a long history of paper money collapsing. Like the Roman period, they used gold coins. So it always had that value of the gold, therefore it didn't collapse. China tried 3 times with paper currency before they realized they had to have something to back it, because there was no trust or liking for paper, because paper within itself has no value.
No intrinsic value. That's correct. But it's the same thing with whatever you're going to back it with. You're going to back with gold. Gold, the only intrinsic value for gold, like I said, it has some actual uses, but those uses don't justify $2,800 an ounce. That's not what's justifying that is uncertainty in the global marketplace, the devaluation of the dollar and the euro, and there's no place to go. And that's what's driving up, plus speculation. That's why it's trading for almost $3,000 an ounce. Gold shouldn't be trading for $3,000 an ounce. It should be trading for $35 to $50 an ounce. Its true value, but it's being overinflated because people are flocking to it because they trust it. But the thing about this is, and when people talk about the gold standard, there's a reason the United States lost the gold standard. Not to put you on the spot and play, are you smarter than the fifth grader? But do you know the real reason why Nixon took us off the gold standard? Why we no longer back our currency with gold?
It's getting to be the population growth. You can't have enough.
No, it's a fair argument, but that is not why it happened.
Okay.
Go back to the 1960s. The ungrateful Charles de Gaulle, who would be speaking German to this day, his descendants, if it hadn't been for us. Charles de Gaulle was angry at the United States after we got sucked into Vietnam for the mess that the French created. In the late 1960s, he withdrew the French from the command structure of NATO, but remained in NATO, the political organization, but took the military forces out of the command structure of NATO, and then demanded that U.S. forces leave France, where we had been for 2 decades, ensuring their freedom. So U.S. troops pulled out of France because of de Gaulle. Then de Gaulle decided to get even with America because he hated us for whatever reason, this demonic lunatic, and he began a run on the dollar. Up until that point, governments could take dollar bills and go to the Federal Reserve and demand payment in gold for the bills. So what de Gaulle did is he began collecting dollar bills and encouraging other countries to do the same and put a run on the dollar bill, on our gold storage. So the Federal Reserve had to hand over gold to the French in exchange for dollar bills, which were worthless because that was the rule. They're backed by gold. Therefore, you must pay them back in gold with governments. And so de Gaulle tried to destroy and undermine and collapse the dollar in the late 1960s or 1970s. And that's why Nixon took us off the gold standard. But in a practical standpoint today, in a country where the economy is $30 trillion a year, we don't have enough gold to back that. All the gold ever mined in the history of this world, all the gold by the Mayans, by ancient peoples, by prospectors in California and Alaska and Yukon and Australia, in Russia, wherever you get gold, South Africa, fits in 9 or 11 swimming pools, Olympic-sized swimming pools total. That's it. It's a finite amount that's been found. There's more out there, but the point is that you can't increase the supply of gold nearly as quickly as you can increase the supply of paper species to meet demand. In a world of 9 billion people, there simply isn't enough gold to back our currency. It just wouldn't work. So that's an impractical thing. A lot of people want to back our currency with gold, but we don't have the gold. We have tons of gold. We have more gold at Fort Knox and in U.S. storage and in Manhattan than any other country in the world. And it's not that much. It's not enough to back our currency. So there you go.
That's it. That's what I was alluding to at the beginning. So we basically, our currency is supposed to be backed by our GDP, our gross domestic product. What we
No,
provide.
our currency is not backed by that, John. I'm sorry. It's backed by the good faith and confidence the U.S. government will pay back its debts. That's what it's backed by. That's the only thing backing up the dollar. And
There's
that's why
variables involved, but GDP is
but
supposed to be part of the variables.
yeah, but people who are buying dollars aren't going, I'm buying this because U.S. is a $30 trillion economy. They're buying it because they know that the dollar will be backed by the good faith of the U.S. government. And when the U.S. government bailed out Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we proved that the government wouldn't let them fail. They were state-owned enterprises, parastatals, partially owned, controlled by the government, and we bailed them out to $250 billion, which we, the taxpayers, been hit with, and the dollar is worth less today because we did it. So the good faith and confidence in the government is what does it. But quite frankly, I don't know why people have good faith and confidence in this federal government. It's out of control. I'll wait till, this time next year to proclaim whether we're back on track or not. But we have a chance to get back on track on January 20th. And I pray that we get there because they have devalued our savings. I mean, you look at somebody that makes six figures today. When I was a kid, if you made $100,000, you were incredibly wealthy. No matter where you lived in the country, whether it was Manhattan, Orange County, California, or in the hills of Eastern Tennessee, where Todd's at, busy hunting down people there, what he's doing out there. But it didn't matter. Today, if you make six figures, even living in, someplace like, rural Maryland, you're doing okay, but you're not wealthy. I mean, when your freaking electric bills are $300 a month and your gas bill is $300 or $200 a month and your phone bill is $100 a month, suddenly that's more than your income was 30 years ago, just paying for bills. $100,000, not $100,000. Why is that? Because they've cheapened the value of the dollar. Look how inflation is just eating through our lives here. I don't buy things just because they're too expensive. I'm not going to pay someone $6.49 for a bag of chips. I'm sorry. I'll chew on my fingernails first.
Well, you got better options.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're right. I guess bulk purchases might help in these regards, but how long do chips last? I mean,
well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, look, but seriously, I mean, it's just insane what they want. I ate at McDonald's recently, but only because they had the $5 meal. I got a sandwich, I got a Coke, I got fries, and I got like 4 McNuggets. Those were disgusting. For $5. I couldn't eat at McDonald's for $5 in ages, but now that special's over, so I won't be visiting McDonald's anytime soon.
They got relatively pricey for what they are. I mean,
Yeah, I've been going to Little Caesars on occasion. I don't care for the pizza, although it's okay, buying their pizza because it's $7 to $11 for a pizza at Little Caesars. And Papa John's wants $77 of your firstborn and your kidney to buy a damn pizza. It's ridiculous.
I used to like Papa John's a lot too. That was a good pizza.
They've priced themselves out of the market. Going to a minor league, American Hockey League hockey game for the Hershey Bears. When I moved to Pennsylvania just a couple of years ago, I could get tickets for a game for $7 to $10 for the upper level, and the lower level good seats were never more than $18 to $20 max, and you could get them on sale. They had specials all the time. Now there's never any sales. Opening night, upper level seats, $79 a person and $30 to park. And they sold out. I mean, where are these people with all this Richie Rich money coming from? It sure isn't me. I'm not eating the dogs. I'm not eating the cats, but I'm also not paying $30 to park in Hershey. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. No, I've been to one baseball game, and I think it cost me $50-something to park the car. And the people that wanted to go to the ball game, I wouldn't have won otherwise, but they paid for the tickets. So I guess I probably made out pretty good on it. But
was that a Red Sox game?
It was.
Oh, so it wasn't baseball.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, they broke the curse. That's all I can tell you.
Sorry, I'm an Orioles fan, so I just yeah. Yeah, but I don't even go to Orioles games anymore because first off, they got woke. That kind of irritated me. And then they were sucky for so long. But now they're a top flight team. But their ticket prices are outrageous, and the parking went from 5 to 7 to 9 to 11 to I don't even know what the parking is anymore. And you park like a half mile or further away from the stadium to pay that price. It's just insane.
Yeah, no, I'm not big on attending games and stuff like that. Like you said, the prices are just outrageous. It's a pain in the butt to get into the park because they get overcrowded. And I mean, might as well go to Disney World, stand in line for an hour to get on a ride.
So Courtney McBride, who lives in Utah, is saying that tickets to see the Utah Hockey Club are going for $300 a ticket, $40 for parking. You know, Courtney was recently at a game. He sent me some photographs of his first ever professional hockey game there in Salt Lake City. And it looked like the game was underway and about 10% of the seats were occupied. I could see why, if the $300 a ticket. You know, going to a Washington Capitals game costs you a fortune. I remember a few years back, I got a good deal on tickets, but I was sitting in the very top row and still paid like, $40 a ticket. And fortunately, I know DC, so I found a place to park for like $15, which is pretty good for DC. But I came back in a snowstorm that night, doing my best not to fishtail on Route 15 coming north after Frederick, Maryland. It was pretty dicey. Most people were pulling over the side of the road, but I mean, I've driven in snow my entire life, so I was a little chuckled by people pulling over. But no, it's ridiculous what they charge, and that's before you even start to buy hoodies and caps and things like that, which they keep jacking the prices up. And all the crap's made in China. So I mean, why should I pay $90 for a hoodie made in China or from Bangladesh? If you're going to make that hoodie in Wisconsin or South Carolina, I might be willing to pay $90, on occasion. But come on, man, get serious here. Get serious.
Yeah, no, it's inflation is killing us. Wages don't go up when inflation goes up, and it creates a divide.
Well, what gets me is how the Congress keeps the tax code locked in where it's at. I mean, millions of Americans are forced into paying the alternative minimum tax, which was not intended to punish middle class people, but that's what's punishing today. Because, like I said, if you make $100,000 in much of America, that's barely middle class. But you wind up in a situation where you wind up paying alternative minimum tax. You get socked for what was meant 50 years ago to make sure only the wealthy pay additional amount. And this is the problem when you treat people differently. Everyone's the same. No one should be getting more taxation than other people. That's wholly unfair. I saw the other day, was it AOC, I think, or was it Pocahontas? One of the two was moaning. I think it was Pocahontas moaning about Elon Musk trying to, I think maybe it was AOC, trying to change the laws. That's why he's cozying up to Trump so that he becomes more wealthy and pays less in tax. Well, I don't think that's true, but when you pay $13 billion a year in a single year on personal income tax, I think, you can be forgiven if you're trying to find a way to lower your income tax bill. No one's ever paid that in their lifetime, let alone in a single year, until Elon Musk paid $13 billion in tax 3 years ago. These people are crazy.
They said they were going to only tax the wealthy when they brought in the tax code in the first place back in 1913. They were, this is for the wealthy because they just make way too much money and we don't get the corporate taxes and yada, yada, yada. And they claim because they were reducing tariffs, supposedly because they were reducing tariffs that they had to make the money up somehow. So they did a direct tax.
Well, here's the better way. How about the federal government stop taking on things that are outside the scope of the Constitution and unconstitutional, like the Department of Education, the EPA? These are not things that are explicitly in the Constitution. Therefore, they're illegal. Stop doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That one, that's an issue within itself. But yeah, 16th Amendment, the way the Article 1, what is it? Article 1, Section 4, Clause 9. Capitation and other direct taxes shall not apply without census and enumeration and must be writ here within, which means taxes must be fair, justifiable, and must be amended to the U.S. Constitution. As you know, in 1880s, they illegally was collecting direct taxes until it was questioned, and then they created the 16th Amendment to abide by the law, in which case they said Congress shall lay and collect taxes without census and enumeration, means they can do whatever they please, write themselves a blank check all day, every day at your expense.
Well, they are doing that, and they're doing it very much at our expense in so many ways: our security, our financial welfare, and our society. They're just getting away with this. That the billions that they gave to Ukraine to fuel Joe Biden's proxy war, and then we have to come up with a new appropriations bill just to find money for FEMA to take care of those who suffered from the hurricanes in North Carolina and Georgia. It's absolute insanity. All these things. So they were moaning about Trump killing the budget deal, and before it was signed, this extension was signed for 90 days, and all this other stuff. And so I wrote to these members of Congress, especially these Democrats, whining about it. I said, no, Trump and Musk have nothing to do with this. You failed in your job as a member of Congress to pass a budget before the fiscal year began. If you clowns did your job and passed a fiscal budget, we wouldn't be sitting here with continuing resolutions, which you can blame Republicans for. You're the clowns that were in charge when the budget was supposed to be passed. So get off the stick and do your job as a member of Congress and stop blaming others. But most Americans are wholly ignorant how the process works. And when they hear the Republicans are trying to shut down the government, they believe it. When they hear the Democrats are trying to shut down the government, they believe it. But the reality is that they're all guilty. They all failed to do their most basic task, which is pass a budget. It's very simple. We haven't had a budget passed before the fiscal year began for for 30 years at least. It's insane.
Well, I've never seen a government shutdown really cause harm to the country. Have you?
Well, we've only had one, and it didn't cause any harm to the country. And Republicans lost because people were silly and they believe the nonsense. Listen, a government shutdown is maybe what we need. The country worked just fine with the federal government shutdown because they don't shut down. They don't shut down the FAA. They don't shut down the military. They don't shut down the DEA. Those are essential functions. That's the only things the government's supposed to be doing. Those will continue. But all the fluffy stuff like funding Robert Mapplethorpe's Insult to Christ and things like that, that gets shut down. And the country works better. If Congress is not in session, we're all a lot better off. Fine with me.
I'm good with it. I think our country did really well when they shut down during the Clinton administration. It seemed like we were having a rocking economy for a couple of years there.
Well, look, the government is not supposed to dictate your life. It's supposed to ensure your safety and provide for the common defense and ensure a level playing field that everyone has a fair chance to succeed or fail on their own merit. Not pet projects, not subsidies for sugar beets, for cane sugar, for corn, for ethanol. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Merry Christmas to all of you out there. We'll catch you right here next week. And Todd will be back with us on the Common Sense Conservatives, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that will be 4 on the West Coast next Wednesday, January 1st, 2025. See you next year, folks. Cheers.
All right.